The opposition in Trinidad and Tobago trying to block the sale of the state-owned oil refinery, and in sport, Windward Islands Volcanoes looking to return to top form in the upcoming regional Super 50 tournament. I'm Dawn Paris and this is the Caribbean in 10 for Tuesday, October 22nd, 2019. I'll be back with a moment with the details.
Roy Rayon is an exceptional musician. His music is for all category of people. You're a Christian, you're unsaved, you can enjoy his music.
What do you think about him performing? How is he as a performer? You were watching him today.
Well, he endeavors to keep the crowd, alive, and that is good. And he could be a good master of ceremonies.
The thing to keep in mind is that when statements like some of the ones in the previous segment were made, I think those make Trump's base excited and they double down on him. So I think it'll have an interesting effect. I don't think it's going to make anybody change their mind.
I think the economy is the key to all this. I don't think it's a coincidence that as we start to whisper about a potential recession, people are really then starting to drum up.
Trinidad and Tobago's main opposition, United National Congress, UNC, is seeking an injunction temporarily blocking the sale of Petrochin's Pointe-à-Pierre refinery to a company backed by the Oilfield Workers Trade Union. Former Senator Wayne Sturge filed the injunction application yesterday as part of a constitutional motion lawsuit over the failure of Finance Minister Com Imbert to hold a joint select committee on energy affairs for the past 19 months. Sturge, through his legal team headed by former UNC Senator Gerald Ramdeen, is asking the court to order Imbert to convene a meeting of the committee, and the application also asks the court to give directions for the purpose of holding the government, the executive and the cabinet accountable to Parliament for decisions made with respect to the sale of the refinery. According to Sturge, the decisions of the government and the cabinet were taken in an atmosphere of secrecy and mystery, and the decision to not convene a meeting of the Joint Select Committee on Energy for the past 19 months was deliberate and intentional on Minister Imbert's part. The High Court will begin hearing arguments on Thursday. And a High Court judge in the Bahamas has ruled that industrial action taken by doctors there in August was unlawful, and it has prohibited them from engaging in any form of industrial action over the payment of outstanding holiday pay. In a written ruling, Justice Ian Winder said the Bahamas Doctors Union violated the Industrial Relations Act when it continued to strike despite its obligation to discontinue once the Labour Minister had referred the dispute to the tribunal on the grounds that the strike had threatened the public interest. The union's lawyer, Obi Ferguson, says the matter won't end there.
I'm inclined to discuss with them going elsewhere to have this matter resolved, because what it means now, the 30-something unions that are registered in the Bahamas, when they take a strike vote, as soon as they take a strike vote and they decide to go and strike, the minister says it's not in the best interest or whatever have you, and the matter is resolved, and I'm going to refer it to the tribunal. So when you go to the tribunal, what do you get? What is the result? Zero. And that cannot be in the best interests of a country. That cannot be in the best interests of industrial relations in the Bahamas. In other words, it's regressive.
Guyana has opened a new court that will seek to offer rehabilitation services to drug users rather than incarceration. The government says the first ever drug treatment court will contribute to the effective reintegration of non-violent drug offenders suffering from addiction. We get more in this HGP News report.
The newly established drug treatment court is a pilot project working primarily as an adult treatment court utilizing a post-adjudicating model. On Monday, the court was officially commissioned with prominent members of Ghana's judicial system. This is how the drug treatment court will operate. A defendant must plead guilty or be found guilty of an approved offense in order to be eligible to participate in the treatment program that the court will facilitate as an alternative to incarceration. Acting Chancellor of the Judiciary, Justice Yonette Cummings Edwards, in her remarks, further expounded that while the court has its mandate to penalize perpetrators of crimes, it also has another role to find solutions in a bid to reduce the occurrences of crime and also overcrowding in the prisons.
The question in your mind should be, as it was in ours, is what is the solution? How does the court, as part of its function of that of the public control of persons, control those persons who offend? The answer is provided in treatment courts. Treatment courts have been seen as that vehicle that provides intervention to treat with persons who are living with substance use disorders.
Minister of Legal Affairs and Attorney General Basil Williams shared similar sentiments, but noted that the government acknowledged the importance of a drug treatment court in helping to remedy issues relating to drug abuse.
Stay with us, your midday sport is next.
Okay guys, so we are ready to go here, and we are doing the cloves and the spice a bit different. We're not going to be adding that directly to the vermicelli. What we're doing is that we're going to bring some water to boil here. The same water we're going to use to boil the vermicelli, but we're going to put it to boil aside and add the cloves and the spice in there to get.
You know, my first question for you, what motivated you to start your own music awards? What was your passion? What it is?
Well, I definitely have a huge passion for art, and a few years ago I started to sing, because I've been writing music for a very long time, but never had the courage to really go out there on stage and perform. And when I finally took that step,
Windward Island's volcanoes will be looking to recapture the form that took them to the top 2 years ago when the Colonial Medical Insurance Super 50 Cup opens on November 6th. Heading into the tournament, former Jamaica fast bowler Andrew Richardson has replaced compatriot Andre Coley as head coach, and former Volcanoes and West Indies wicketkeeper batsman Junior Murray has been named his assistant. The Volcanoes are in Group B along with last year's beaten finalists and 10-time champions Ghana Jaguars and Trinidad and Tobago Red Force. Also in Group B are the composite West Indies Emerging Players Squad and invitational side United States. Last season, the Volcanoes struggled badly in the competition, finishing second last ahead of Canada in their group. They managed a single win over the Canadians. And Jamaica's 8-time Olympic medalist Veronica Campbell-Brown is the latest athlete to be honored with a statue. It was unveiled in the capital, Kingston, as we hear in this TVJ Sports report.
It was the third of 4 statues commissioned by the government to pay tribute to some of the country's greatest athletes. But the moment felt extremely special for VCB, since she's mounted next to her idol and mentor Merlene Otte.
Merlene is such an awesome person. I really admire her, and I'm just grateful to be among Jamaica's rich history, and persons like Merlene has set the pace for all of us who came after her, and so I'm grateful to be here in the Statue Park among these great athletes.
Minister of Sport Olivia Babsy-Grange expressed how great the government felt to acknowledge Campbell-Brown's body of work.
She has carried the flag well. She has been extremely outstanding, being the first in a number of areas and being the only in a number of areas in her achievements in track and field. And so today, we honor her.
And that's Caribbean in 10. Join us at 6:30 this evening for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.